Patrick's Day Tournament. This is the 2020 edition. And Monday's qualifying, aka practice round. Let's go to Golf Clash Notebook and check them out. They don't have this tournament up yet, so we're having to dig out the holes. So we're on Drew Moore Links, and we're on hole number 8. And the Drew Moore Links holes I did not get any practice on with this account. So I have no idea. Okay, with lower developed clubs, getting out into here is not a hard deal. And I think if you get far enough up in here, you may be in your max short iron coming in. Where I'd really like to get with this account is I'd really like to get onto this pad. And the way that we could get up there is to do a rough bump, a third bounce rough bump to bleed off into that. I'm not sure with this account. I've got an EM7. And so I've got the same power, same topspin as an EM6. And I'm not sure whether we've got enough to get up in here or how risky it is. So it may be better just to lay it up right here and go at it with a short iron. It may be, depending on the angles here and what ball you bring, you may end up being in your long iron range. But really the goal here is to try and work ourselves into short iron. And if we can get up on this pad, we're going to be in wedge. So in my upper developed account, there is a way to get on, but I think really what I'm going to do for consistency to try and get the eagle on this hole on a consistent basis is I'm just going to shoot for this pad. I'm not really a fan of this side just because it's super hard to get way out here in the front because of this ridge and how this side's set up. So I'm going to be focusing this week on all the stuff on the right. And I have no idea what it'll take to get out into that area. And that's why we're practicing today. And I'm not so concerned about the shot going in because I don't know what I may need or not need to get up in there. So today is all about just seeing what it takes to get up into that area. So I want to take a couple clubs here. Those are going to be this account. It's a low level account. It has some T5 clubs that are at usable level, but most of the clubs are T4 and below. I've only played in T5 for 4 hours. Just picking up a few of those clubs, but I'm living in the extra mile QB big topper range, and I'll be there for a long time. Those are going to be the 3 clubs. I think it's probably going to be, I don't know. It's going to be one of those 3. And I'm not sure if we're in let's go back and look at the hole here. If I'm in my wood range, whether a rough bump is a viable option or whether getting over here is the viable option. I think if I'm coming at it from distance and I'm trying to land on the green side, I may need a club with some backspin in order to woe me up before I get to the cup. And one of the things I like about the Saturn is the Saturn's got topspin, backspin, curl. It's got everything. It's a great utility club. So you could come on a hole like this and you could probably do the bounce over, you could do a rough bump, or you could try this shot right here. And you can see which one is going to work out best. If the rough bump works out best, then you could bring your most accurate club for that rough bump, and a backbone may be a better option. But I think I'm going to play this hole with a Saturn to start off with today just so that I can see kind of what it's doing. Let me switch that out. And we get a better idea. And it's got more, when we look at backbone, it's got more topspin, more backspin, same ball guide. The power is an issue. So we may find that we need a little bit of that power, or we may find that when we're doing the rough bump, we only need 2 or 3 topspin. And so the backbone may be the club, but I want to bring out stuff that'll give me great utility today so that I can see what's going on. The one weakness on the Kingfisher, when we have lower developed stuff, we talk about ball guide and accuracy. Trying to get this club here up, the Hornet up, so that we've got some ball guide and accuracy. We have some accuracy, but not as much as the Kingfisher. But what we do have is we've got some distance. The Kingfisher is always a little weak on power. And we're in similar situations here, but once again, the accuracy. So those clubs, as they go up and they get developed, they will start to supplant the Kingfisher. But the Kingfisher right now is definitely the best short iron that I have. And what I'm looking for is ball guide and accuracy. All right, and I have no idea as far as ball goes. I'm going to bring a Titan just to start off with so that we can see what a 3-power ball will do. Trying not to use any big balls. Anything I want to use the non-special ball, something that we can normally buy in the store. Kingfisher, Kingmaker below. There's a few of these holes, if you got upper developed clubs, that if you bring out a bigger ball, you can increase your odds by trying to get on a couple of these par 4s. But today, I'm mainly going to be focusing on just trying to get on with the normal stuff and see what my options are. If I can get my club into this range right here on the drives, I could potentially get over to that. What we want to watch out for is that we don't want to go, today we got a 5 wind, and go, hey, we can use that wind, because if we get into one of the, and we just can get over there, and then we get into one of the rounds and we've got a 3 wind, now all of a sudden we can't, and our shot's blown to hell. Titan, the king of balls. The king of balls. Da-da-da-da. And it's not going to have enough forward roll. So the wind's going to push me forward 4 or 5. So the wind's going to push me forward that much, whether I like it or not. I'm going to leave the wind in and put just a little bit of overpower on it and see if I can get myself out into that area. Hit it 1 ring great to the right, or excuse me, left. My other right. Bam. Look at that. Was looking forward and wasn't even looking back. So while we're in the sand, I'm going to shoot. It's super easy to end up, and I can't remember. I'm going to shoot right over into here because it's super easy to get over into this area and not try and get over. And I want to see whether that's long iron or short iron. If I just did mid fairway there. So it's super easy with a QB to get down into this area right here. And so I'm just going to shoot over here because I want to see, like, if I was over here, I can't remember if this is long iron or short iron. It looks like from this distance, it's probably going to be long iron. And see what kind of look that gives me if I was just right there. Because doing a layup to that spot right there with your QB is super easy. My opponent's got a level 1 inbringer. The wind is going with us, so we're not going to have to do any big wind adjustments. This is why we practice on Mondays. So if you're watching my stuff on Mondays during the tournaments and you're like, hey, we're going to get to see how all these holes are done, this is not the day. Today is all about trying to figure it out. If you watch my stuff and you only watch it on Monday, so there's my long iron. So I'd have to get from where I'm at, I'd have to get way down into that thing to get past the red line to get in my short iron. So it's possible that we could get into our short iron from there. We're at minimum club. It's 3.5 per ring. So we're just a tick over a ring. Right back to the red line. Hit it 1 ring great to the right. It snapped to that spot. So we do have a shot from there. If we, and the deal there is that if we slightly overshoot that, we're going to be out of our range for our long iron, and we'll be on our short iron. And with that short iron, with the little distance that it has, we could end up with a red line issue. So if we're going to lay it up, we want to lay it up, really lay it up or we need to get down on that pad, because I think in that pad area, we're definitely going to be, I know if you're mid pad, if you're about mid pad, you're in your, so right here was where I was at, somewhere in this neighborhood. And I was right at minimum club right here. So if I went forward in this range, I'm in my short iron. I've got my short iron. So if I can end up on this pad, I'm going to be either in short iron or I'm going to end up in wedge, depending on where I'm at on this pad. And I think it is possible to get on that pad. But if we're going to do the layup shot up here for red line, it's probably better to just lay it up here so that we have that long iron shot coming in. And to get to this spot right here is going to be pretty easy, because we can bring our QB and start off on this side right here and just shoot up through the gap to get into this area. And still bring a big ball so that we can, and we may find that when we're out in this area that where we're ending up with our QB, that we're ending up in between clubs, and we can drop that ball down to a katana and give ourselves more room on our long iron. Because if you're shooting it up here, you're pretty much going at it with a long iron, and you could help yourself out with that red line by bringing a katana instead of a Titan. So option number 1 is going to be here, and option number 2 is going to be trying to get out into this area. I'm going to continue to work on trying to see what I can do with my club to see if I can get it out there, if I don't overshoot it and shank it like I did right there and end up in the sand. I was so focused on what I was doing up here, I wasn't paying attention to what was right in front of my face. But I think it might be possible for us to do that rough up where we get a bounce here, we get a bounce in the rough, and then we bleed off into it. This island would be ideal. So it's this island right here or right here, because I think trying to get it up into this area and stick it may be a little bit problematic with lower developed clubs. So we're either looking at a long iron or we're potentially looking at a wedge up here. So this will definitely be a hole that I'm going to work on again tomorrow. And I'm going to work this shot right here, because I know that I can do this shot laying it up back here, but I want to see, how difficult it is to get onto that island, and if it's even possible. Like if I do hit it right and I can't get onto that island, then that shot's out of the loop. So then we know we're going to do the layup. But we got to get some of that stuff out of our system. You don't want to get into the weekend round where you're like, I really need to pick up a shot, and I know that shot will work, and then you're trying something that you haven't tried all week and it doesn't work out for you. All right, that was hole number 2. Not exactly what I was looking for on that hole, but I did learn a few things about where the clubs are at. And when I go back and watch these videos, I watch these videos too, just like you guys. I'll go back and watch them to see like what I did and where I ended up and what club I was in, and look at those adjustments so that I can try and develop a set of notes for this particular bag or this particular account. All right, that was hole number 2 of the 2020 St. Patrick's Day Tournament and Monday's practice round in the rookie division. Thanks for watching.